Hi guys, we're back with more on Summer Moon Utah Wells and the picture of her sleeping on two gallon jugs of milk. And I know, rightfully so, this is just an unusual picture. It's not something you would normally see. It's an unusual picture. Now, do children fall asleep in the car next to the groceries every day? You know, especially when you're that age. But the strange thing about it is that the way the milk jugs are placed, it may have been hot in the car. Either way, it stood out to a lot of us that it was just an unusual picture, and it was a red flag, or it hit our spirits in an unusual way. So we're going to get into it. Someone asked me what the symbolism is with the milk jugs, and there absolutely is a very dark history of the symbolic meaning of milk and what it has to do with, oh gosh, I don't even want to bring this up. All right, guys, we're going there. We're just going to tell the story of the lore and backstory of the symbology of milk. Am I saying that this conflates to the disappearance of Summer Moon Utah Wells? No. But what I am doing is I'm answering a question to a comment about if milk has any symbolic meaning with child trafficking and crimes against children and ritual child sacrifice. I'm going to give you the lore of the history. So let's get into it. Mother's milk is said to be the perfect, life-sustaining, God-made sustenance known to man. It naturally produces out of the woman's breast to feed their baby. And it's got everything in it that a baby could need to live on for as long as the mother can feed the baby. Now, I think with women nursing, they can nurse until their child stops nursing. Well, anyway, let's get into the dark part of it. Occult or hidden in history, religion, and folklore or lore. Milk may represent a mother's love or of the mother's nurturing a child or nourishment for the psyche. In life, drinking milk may symbolize sharing in divine life or consciousness or awareness of one source of all life, one life force. In traditions of different religions, they speak of a fluid or drink that came from cod as sap in trees, blood, etc., and was variously named. Milk may symbolize nourishment for one's psyche, enabling personal expansion. Drinking milk may symbolize sharing in divine life or consciousness or awareness of the one source of all life, one life force, also known as ki or vril or prana. Religious traditions speak of a fluid or drink that came from cod as sap in trees, blood, etc., and was variously named. Milk ambrosia, honey mead, nectar, etc. According to the Ramayana Amrita, the nectar of life was produced by the churning of the sea of milk. This was the first food and the first drink in which all other beverages resided in a state of potentiality. and hence milk was naturally the symbol of plenty and fertility, and also of knowledge. The meaning of the word was extended in an esoteric sense and as a channel of initiation. Lastly, milk was a symbol of immortality. No sacred writings have celebrated milk to the extent of those of India. The morning hymn, the Agnihotra, sung every day since the Vedas began, tells how Indra and Agni, with joyful song, give life to this milk, so that it confers immortality to the righteous man who makes sacrifice. In the Orphic hymns, there's a similar note in which milk is not only the drink, but the place of immortality. Heracles, or Hercules, imbibed the milk of immortality at Hera's breast, while the pharaoh suckled by a goddess, and by this means attained to a new and holy divine life, from which he drew the strength to fulfill his mission as an earthly ruler. Again, milk was poured on the 365 altar tables around the tomb of Osiris, one table for each day of the year, and this sprinkling helped the gods, lowercase g, rebirth each morning. The Celts, as well, regarded milk as the nectar of immortality when a drunken stupor was not required. In addition, milk possessed medicinal virtues. A Pictish druid, Drosten, advised the king of Ireland to heal his soldiers wounded by the Britons, or British, poisoned arrows by collecting the milk from 140 white cows and pouring it into a hole in the middle of a field. Those who bathed in it would be healed. Pseudo-Dionysius, the Areopagite, compared God's teachings with milk because the strength instilled in them further spiritual growth. Suckling by a divine mother is a mark of adoption and hence of absolute knowledge. Heracles, aka Hercules, was suckled by Hera, and Saint Bernard by Our Lady, making him the adoptive brother of Christ. The Philosopher's Stone is sometimes called the Virgin's milk, milk in the context being a food of immortality. Muslim commentators, for example, in many instances, giving milk is the sense of the initiatory. In other words, in a hadith recorded by Ibn Omar Muhammad, is supposed to have said that to dream of milk is to dream of learning or knowledge. In the language of Tantrism, milk is Bodhikita or Bodhikita, meaning both thought and semen, rising to the Manipura chakra or umbilical center. Finally, it should be added that milk, like all symbolic vehicles of life and knowledge as absolutes, is a lunar symbol, predominantly female and linked to the springtime renewal of nature, aka the summer solstice. Side-eye. This is the essential quality of libations of milk, and of such milk white sacrificial victims as the cow, which the Yakut sprinkled with milk at the spring festival in May, and which somehow signified the transfer to the fields of the powers inherent in the symbol. There you have it, guys. That is the history and lore of the symbology of milk. You guys can come to your own conclusions with the information given. If you got anything out of this video, help us out with a like and a subscribe and a comment so we can get this into the algorithm. And thank you for walking with me. We'll be back soon with another video. And May the truth come out on this precious little girl, Summer Moon Utah Wells, who was kidnapped 5 days before the summer solstice. Leave your thoughts below.